Two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference meet this evening at Lynn Family Stadium as Louisville City FC hosts Detroit City FC, brought to you by GE Appliances. Happy to have you along for this one on Golazo Network with the coach, Eric Dobransky. I'm Joe Malfa, and Eric, as you take a look at the standings, you'll see these two teams in a good way right now. Lou City near the top right now behind Charleston because of the games played. Detroit City, same thing, further back than they could be because they've only played 8 games. And the reason you've seen so much success from this Louisville side, they've just been downright dominant at home.
Yeah, treating this fan base to a show each time they take the field at home, but that's what you want. You want teams to know before they arrive how difficult it is to get points here, and then you add in the form Lou City are at home scoring-wise. Quite the combination. Now, some of their louder wins have been here at home with 16 of their 22 goals coming in 3 matches, so that's important. But Ray Serrano has been somebody to look out for throughout. Wilson Harris, second in the Golden Boot right now. I mean, they've been electric in the final third.
And you've alluded to the man who we have for tonight's player profile presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. That's Ray Serrano. He has just had a renaissance this season. It's tough to say renaissance for such a young player, but after the year he had last year to what he's doing this year, just night and day.
Yeah, you're 100% right. This is a player that had 0 goals last season, having a breakout 2024 campaign. He complements this attack, and he features in his decision-making, his shot selection. He's always looking to upgrade the opportunity, not only for himself, but his teammates, and it shows in the 3 assists that he has along with the 5 goals.
And we see 2 of the best teams in the league tonight. We showed you the standings, 2nd for Louisville, 5th for Detroit City, but I pointed to the fact that both teams have played fewer games. It was 10 for Lou City, it was only 8 for Detroit City. On a points-per-game basis, team number 1 and team number 4 in the league.
And what both teams feature is balance in both boxes, and especially defensively. The hot start for Detroit City, the 5-0. 4 of their 5 wins have been by 1-goal margins. So although they only played 8 games, they've been tested and withstood those tight matches. It's
been a while since they played as well. Go 18 days ago when they tied 1-1 against Phoenix Rising.
And what a high-class finish by Ben Morris here in the 9th minute. Take the early 1-0 lead, but unfortunately unable to hold on and concede a second-half goal off this service to Phoenix Rising, and they earn 1 point against the defending champs.
And without Maxi Rodriguez tonight for Detroit City nursing a knock, you were looking for Ben Morris to step up even more.
Yeah, had that goal against Phoenix Rising, as we just saw. He's going to look to be a threat out in those wide areas. It's his ability to take people on 1v1, to create for himself, or deliver a high-quality cross in the entry pass. He's going to have to be influential if Detroit City look to put pressure on Lou City offensively.
Now, one player who had been influential for Lou City for a while was Joshua Winder, now of Benfica. That season's over, so he's back visiting old friends. His brother Elijah Winder in the lineup tonight as Lou City takes on Detroit City. It's become one of the better local rivalries we've seen over the last couple of years in USL Championship, but it's been one-sided. Lou City and Detroit City next on Golazo Network.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can start it with a splash. Hi. With a play date at a park. Or at a party with friends. Or at an epic water balloon fight.
Gotcha!
Lease a legendary new 24 4Runner for $439 a month. Or get 4.99 APR financing. Or be the first to get the all-new Tacoma, now arriving at your Toyota dealer.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
When the Thompsons first bought their house, all they saw was their dream home. They didn't yet know that with a home equity line of credit from Commonwealth Credit Union, it would be their keys to epic cannonballs and the chance to see the world. As years went by, it allowed them to empower the next generation and make happily ever after come true. Which begs the question, what could your home be doing for you? Let's find out together. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
How do you get your news?
Is WDRB the soundtrack to your morning routine?
Or you can scroll on the go with the WDRB News app.
If you've already cut the cord, start streaming our news on WDRB+.
Maybe you like to read a more in-depth story and you use WDRB.com.
When weather's the biggest story of your day, the WDRB Weather app has video forecasts and radar.
However you choose to get your news, WDRB is the source.
WDRB Plus is an app you can download on your TV through Apple TV, Roku, or Fire TV. Just like your phone has an app store, these devices have an app store as well. If you type in WDRB Plus in the search bar, the app will appear. Once the app appears, just scroll over and click download. And the best part is, it's free. You can watch WDRB Plus original content like WDRB Crossroads, Overtime with Bozich and Crawford, and Beat the Spread. And you have access to 24/7 news. Download it today.
Let's jump right into the starting lineup tonight for both Lou City and Detroit City, Eric.
And a team that leads the league in total goals, and you do it with a back three in Sharpie, Ordonez, and Tosh that attack opponents. They can do it on the dribble, playing through lines, tight channels, and then you have Winder and Davila with the playmaking. 14 goals amongst this front line of Serrano, Harris, and Perez as well.
Now on the opposite side for Detroit City, no Maxi Rodriguez. It's a big hole to fill.
And a team that leads the league in fewest goals allowed in 7. Win the midfield battle for Detroit City. The wide play is going to be really key. The combination of Ali Coote, Brett Levi's, and then the other side, Morris and Sheldon is going to be really important.
That's Louisville City from left to right in their purple. Detroit City from right to left in their white and gold. Another beautiful evening here at Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Glad to have you with us on the Lasso Network with the coach Eric Dobransky. I'm Joe Malfa, and we are underway between Lou City and Detroit City. Louisville coming off back-to-back draws, both on the road against Vegas and Rhode Island. Prior to that, 7 wins from their first 8 matches. Downright dominant at home. Detroit City playing its first match in 18 days in regular season play. In between there, they had an Open Cup loss against Indy, so still had a USL opponent, and for all intents and purposes, a USL caliber match, just not the result they wanted, and not an official competition. It's been an awkwardly long layoff for Detroit City.
It is, and coming off that 18 days, you jump right into playing one of the hottest teams in the league right now, if not the hottest team. I mean, highest scoring team. I mean, they do it on both sides of the ball. 28 goals leading the league, 9 goals against in the top 3. Detroit City with the 7 goals allowed, and that leading the league. And then clean sheets for Lou City, 6. Tied for first in the league. And for Detroit City, you mentioned the Open Cup. They advanced against Houston Dynamo 3-3, 3 goals in that match, 3 late goals to equalize and take it to penalties. 0 goals in that 3-0 loss to Indy 11 in that Open Cup. But going to their 3 previous league games leading up to the Open Cup, 1 goal in those 3 games, and that being the 1-1 draw against Phoenix Rising at home.
We've seen so far this year in spurts from Detroit City an ability to pour the goals in, a more attack-minded system under Danny Dicchio in his first season as the head coach here, as opposed to what it was under now sporting director Trevor James. But one thing that Detroit City hasn't lost is their defensive prowess as well. Through that all, as you mentioned, the offensive struggles they've conceded at a clip that has them among the best in the league. They are best in the league in terms of fewest expected goals allowed. They lock things down defensively despite their offensive struggles.
Yeah, you're always going to give yourself a chance in games when you don't concede goals. And these are 2 teams that rely on their defensive posture to create some of the opportunities, as you see the attack from Sean Tosh.
Wilson Harris, it took a bit of a deflection, it seemed. And Lou City is going to have its first corner of the night. We don't want to make it sound like we're headed for 0-0, by the way. We think there are a few goals in this one, but let's wait and see.
Yeah, and Wilson Harris on the ball, so dynamic, so positive and progressive. Immediately gets his head up and committed to that next action. Early corner kick for Lou City.
Corner brought to you by Wi-Fi. Perez standing over it. Adrian Perez. Open man there, back post, and that is one that you would like to have back if you're Taylor Davila.
Oh, that's one that you almost have too much time and you're too wide open. He completely unmarked. It looks like all the attention goes to Wilson Harris, and Davila just peels off to that far post. What a delivery. And Detroit City let off the hook for that defensive miscue. It's always good when you can learn that early lesson and not pay the price for it. And now next corner you can see, though, best believe that the communication is going to be pretty detailed on who's got who.
Taylor Davila with 3 goals already on the season. He had 6 last year for RGV, where he was first team All-League. Steinwasser could hit a milestone tonight for Detroit City. His first save of the day will be his 200th in USL Championship. Would imagine he'll have to make one at some point against this Lou City attack. Question is when that first one comes, and then how many will follow. Let's give and go. Whipped in by Morris. Harris was lurking. Wearing the captain's armband today. No Kyle Adams in this one for Lou City. Nursing a knock. They don't expect it to be long-term, so Harris wearing the armband, and there's his first good look.
And this all starts from that first and second action defensively. Their repress, the pressure they put on teams in those higher spaces, and then how dynamic they are on and off the ball. You can see the combination play. You can see how front-footed they.
Jansen Wilson through for Wilson Harris. The offside flag did come up. Just any moment, any of those players is looking for that ball, and they can do you in.
Well, and you think some of the past conversation with Danny Cruz, whether it was last season or leading up throughout the seasons, he's talked about sometimes his teams playing too side to side, keeping the ball, but just connecting it from left to right, not playing positive when they could. And this season, my goodness, as soon as they regain possession, they are looking to play forward. And that's something that just takes time. And I think that's something for Danny Cruz and his team. It takes some comfort in terms of what you're looking for, the ball you're looking at, those entry balls, the runs.
Here's Morris taking it for Detroit City. It's touched around the post by Damian Lass and out for a corner for the visitors.
And there's that quick strike ability by Detroit City. Quick in, and then Ben Morris highlighted him in the open. The finish he had against Phoenix Rising.
Taken quick, Ali Koot sneaks it through. Winder, uncharacteristic giveaway. Commonwealth Credit Union. To learn more about how we could help you meet your financial goals, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com.
You talk about matchups, you talk about positional units. I said it when we were presenting the lineups.
Again, it's Koot. Davila defending. Took a deflection. Matthews closing in. Turned and cleared by Serrano. All of a sudden it's Detroit City now with the pressure on Louisville.
This is a front three for Lou City. 14 goals in the midfield. 8 goals within the midfield. And then for Detroit City, Matthews plays higher as that target forward, but you add Morris and Koot. 3 goals amongst those 3 out of the team's 11. And they had opportunity. They create at a good clip. They are dangerous. They can combine. They can overload you in those wide areas. Ali Koot and Ben Morris, the services in are tremendous. But now it's converting when you need to. You look at that Indy 11 US Open, the Open Cup match. You convert some of those first half chances. That scoreline, although it's 3-0, could have been different.
Tracked down by Jansen Wilson. Danny Cruz called him one of the best wingbacks in the league. That is a player who's just begun his professional career out of Belmont collegiately the last 2 years. He spent the last couple of summers, Jansen Wilson, training with Lou City. They got a good look at him. Brought him in right away as soon as he turned pro this year. Impressed in camp, won the job. And again, to Danny Cruz's point, in his eyes, looked like one of the best young wingbacks in the league through only, so far, 10 appearances.
And to play that in the system in which Lou City plays and Danny Cruz wants his team to play, so much of it is decision-making, timing, when to go, when to present yourself in the final third, when to go blow up a play defensively in that high press. And for that kind of praise, that's tremendous for Wilson. And 2 goals on the season, and 10 games played.
Carroll breaking lines. Jope for Coot. Interesting, Jope is further up the field so far tonight. In that midfield where you could see Murphy, Williams, and Jope all interchange at some point. But Jope the furthest forward early. Morris took a deflection for Matthews. For Sheldon. Danny Dicchio in charge of the Detroit City team, his first season as the head coach. Says he'd rather win a game 3-2 than see out a game 0-0. They want to bring entertainment to the supporters, and we've seen a really good contingent of traveling supporters for Detroit City throughout the stadium tonight. And his core possession-based coach who wants to break lines, very attacking-minded, even though it hasn't come off that way in terms of the goal scoring. There's no doubt, to the eye test, a much different team, Detroit City, this year than last in terms of their attacking-mindedness. And it's with this pressure here in the midfield that they start the attack. Jope commits a foul, lunging in on Winder at the last moment.
And obviously the injury and not having Elvis Amo available is key, and made his presence known right away in that opening match against Colorado Springs Switchbacks with the goal. And this is a point in the season, and I know we talked about Detroit City playing fewer games than the rest of the league in the 8, but this is where trends start to stick out, and this is where teams, you're already going to get teams scout each other and get good looks at what you're doing, whether it's set pieces as Lou City sets up for another corner. So now it's about being dynamic and multi-dimensional, where you could break some of those trends down too.
Another Wi-Fi corner kick for Serrano, goes short for Perez. Now Serrano whips it in, dealt with easily by Detroit City. Sun shining back through the clouds again as it sets beyond the stands here at Lynn Family Stadium. Nearly a dozen minutes into this one. Scoreless between Lou City and Detroit City. Glad to have you with us on Golazo Network with Eric Dobransky and Joe Malfa. First meeting of the season between these two clubs. Overall, in USL play, be it regular season, be it postseason, it's been one-sided. Louisville 4-1 in the USL series. They have met an Open Cup as well. Went Louisville's way in penalties. Well, they don't tell you that when you go to referee school, that sometimes you do have to tend to a divot.
Above and beyond. Seen it a couple times there on that side. Is that turf coming up a bit? When we talk about trends, you mentioned the goals at home. 6 goals on the road for Lou City. I mean, obviously they're 28 goals total. These are two teams that are coming off 2 straight draws in league play. The 2-2 draw for Lou City at Las Vegas, and then the 0-0 just recently at Rhode Island, who just continues to be on that stretch of draws and picking up 1 point for Rhode Island.
Didn't really create too many chances in that game, Lou City. Did not give up any either. They did not face a single shot on target from Rhode Island, though they did have a post that was hit from Rhode Island in the early stages. So if you had to say which of the two sides had the best chance of the day, it was Rhode Island, but the quality and quantity beyond that one opportunity belonged to Louisville, which is, again, not saying much on a day where neither team really saw too many good looks in that 0-0 over the weekend. Part of it, too, travel maybe catching up to Louisville. Had to go at Seattle in Open Cup and mixed in that. They come back, have a home game against Orange County, then they're back out west against Vegas, back home for the week leading up to an East Coast trip to Rhode Island. It's a lot. They crisscrossed the whole country, now whipped in toward Harris and cleared again by Carroll. So it catches up to you after a while.
And that, along with you and Charleston are setting the pace in the East. You're going to get everybody's best shot, whether they're coming into Lynn Family Stadium or you're playing away. Every team's going to be up for this match. And especially for Detroit City, Morris fizzes through, and it's off the foot
of Jansen Wilson. A lot of these half chances here for Louisville right now haven't cashed in yet.
And it's this wide play and the delivery. We've seen it a number of times. The commitment to getting good layers in the box, having that goal surrounded. Nate Steinwasser not forced into a save just yet, but good runs, well timed. But going back to Detroit City, they start that 5-0 start. They haven't won a game in 3 matches. They dropped that 2-0 game at Pittsburgh, then the 0-0 at Loudoun, and then the 1-1 at home against Phoenix Rising. In the 18 days in between league games, is the team that's going to want to come out and test Lou City.
Perez testing right now, and Steinwasser makes the save off the deflection.
And Perez taking advantage of this 3 stretching and pushing this back line in. You saw the Wilson Harris and Jansen Wilson getting into the 18-yard box, really forcing this back line of Detroit City to make a decision. Perez able to drive.
Fans, when Lou City wins, you win. This season, Lou City has partnered with Wendy's to give you a free small Frosty if the boys in purple win. No purchase necessary. Offer valid the following day after a win. Head to any participating Louisville area Wendy's location to redeem. Wendy's, actually, I take that back. I was going to say getting their money's worth of that advertisement this year because of the wins we've seen from Lou City. But then again, maybe not getting their money's worth because that's a lot of free Frosties they've had to dole out. So we need somebody with a better business mind than you or I to dive into that one.
Be careful what you wish for. you sign the contract and
that is a lot of Lou City wins, a lot of Frosties. Can rotate through all the flavors as the season goes along. Already again with 7 through 10 matches. Setting the pace in USL Championship, 2.3 points earned per match. And that is not something that Danny Cruz and company shy away from. Had this chat with him the last couple of years. They always have a points per game target in mind that they know historically leads to the #1 overall seed, so that all roads to a trophy run through Lynn Family Stadium. So they're well aware of that 2.3 points per game right now. Here's Morris cutting in, going for goal. Another one off target, but another sign of Lou City knocking on the door.
And this is the complement in which Lou City plays with. They can break you down with these 10, 15-yard passes, these combination play, and then they can hit this long diagonal, and then what a touch from Jake Morris, putting it right into his path, knowing exactly where and what space he wants to access. Just sending that strike well over the crossbar, well wide as well.
That's interesting. That's something that Danny Cruz touched on in our conversation ahead of this one. He said it would sound greedy. Hold on a second. Ray Serrano comes through with it looking for Harris. Detroit City gathers it back. He said it would sound greedy, but he thinks what's lacking right now is they're not finishing enough of their chances, which is rich to say for a coach who's in charge of a team who's setting the pace in the league with goals right now. But he still feels there's a lot left out there, and he points to the results that haven't gone their way. The draw against Vegas, the draw against Rhode Island, the loss on the road against Charleston. He said in each of those games, you look first 15, 30 minutes, there's chances we could have and should have put away where, again, trying to be greedy, trying to be the coach of a team who does set the pace in this league. He thinks they could be 10-0-0, and it's because of some early chances missed. We're 18 minutes in. Think of how many good looks they've already had that they haven't capitalized on. So that's one area where he does want this team to improve. Ali Coot with it now. The other way for Detroit City. Not on the same page as Matthews, and Lass has it.
And that's the mindset that drives this Lou City culture. It's the constant desire, that growth mindset to just keep getting better and finding ways, whether it's the the numbers, the statistics, the looking at areas like that, because goals change games, but the timeliness of those goals change games as well. And you mentioned the 15 minutes, the time that Charleston, they take the lead, and then they end up losing 3-2. and the chances they've created thus far, only forcing Nate Steinwasser into that shot from Perez. And you look at the matches, you have the 6-0 win against Hartford, the 5-3 win against Indy, the 5-0 win against Birmingham. I mean, those are 3 games in itself that take quite a load. That's 16 of the 28 goals right there. So they've had those 3 louder results. But again, I think what Danny Cruz and his side are looking is when that game is at the tilt where you can push it and you could sway the momentum one way or the other. It's the timeliness of that goal and being ruthless in that moment.
Especially right now where you have this entire back end of Detroit City using their left hand as a visor, staring right into the sun. It's Matthews over the top. He's taken down by Ordonez. A late whistle here, and it's a yellow card issued to Ordonez. Free kick will come just outside the area here. Not a penalty, but a clumsy moment that could lead to a really good opportunity here for Detroit City.
And it looks like Damian Loss gets the brunt end of this finish here with Matthews coming to the end, being pushed through by Ordonez.
It's a bone-dry roofing yellow for Ordonez. Seems like Danny Dicchio having words with the 4th official, wondering why maybe not a red there. Do you get into that last man situation? Gray area for sure.
Yeah, and I think the proximity of the Ordonez's teammates in Sharpie and Tosh prevent that from being a last man scenario. And I also think taking into account that ball on the hop, it's a little tough to say that you're denying a clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity. Now, this being a difficult area, and this is, you miss Maxi Rodriguez already, and this is an area in which he's incredibly lethal. This is difficult to get up and down and around a wall or up and over.
You wonder if there's any creativity here or if it's just simply Ryan Williams going for a goal. Ben Morris was there initially for a look as well. Is it a quick touch to somebody else, or is it Williams just going for it? A lot of bodies between Williams and Loss. Count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically a 7-man Louisville wall with a couple of Detroit City players in the mix as well. It is Williams through all of that, saved by Loss. Morris has it now, centers, and it's out for a corner. With all the bodies, no idea how Williams got it through, but Loss comes up big.
What a terrific strike by Ryan Williams, but just met with an even better save by Damian Loss, fighting through that traffic, and you could just see, looks like Jope is the one that bends down to make that room for Williams to play over, and Damian Loss having to locate that extremely quick to make that save.
Got the grounds crew for Lou City down on the near side, patching some of those divots while the play is going on. Meantime, here's the corner. Swung in toward Loss, fumbled initially. Still loose, comes out to Coote. Laid along for Matthews, poked away by Sharpie. Only as far as Williams. Now it's Brett Levi's who originally took the corner. Strong header away from Tosh. Back in from Levi's. Good flurry here for Detroit City. Levi's again over the top. Lou City holding strong.
And through 23 minutes, we've seen Lou City with a bit more of the sustained pressure and the sustained opportunities. But Detroit City has had these spells that have not just been played in the middle third. They have been dangerous here in the final third.
Matthews looking for Jope. Winder just barely able to keep it away from the big striker. Wilson Harris bringing Serrano too far. Holds back for a foul against Detroit City. Referee tried to let the advantage play out, never came to fruition. Matthew Corrigan in charge of tonight's matchup. Hasn't had much to do. 24 minutes in, aside from that moment where he gave the yellow to Ordonez, still the only card of the match. Again, Lou City a perfect 5-0-0 at home this season. Plus 18 goal differential within that. 22 scored, 4 conceded. Harris for Jansen Wilson. Well defended by Brett Levi's. And Wilson fouls him on the way back.
That wide matchup. Levi's doing a tremendous job 1v1. Jansen Wilson sticking with the play. It's one of those preventing that transition moment, not allowing Detroit City to get out of that area and counter when you have those numbers committed. So I know Jansen Wilson's frustrated with the foul, but it is one of those where you slow the play down, not allowing Detroit City that opportunity, and the numbers get back behind the ball.
Well, Nate Steinwasser and crew had the sunscreen before this one. There were some clouds covering. Those have completely dissipated, and it is strong down at their end. It's interesting. We typically see Louisville scoring at this end or targeting this end second half, the supporters' end. Don't know exactly who won the coin toss, but it would stand to reason that Louisville might have won it and flip-flopped it, considering the sun advantage and disparity here.
Yeah, those details matter. you know, when you look at how it's shaping out, you want to test from distance, and it gives you the opportunity.
Wilson does that here. Amu Mensah blocks it. There's your winder. Brother Joshua in attendance. Saw him top the broadcast. That big historic transfer over to Benfica. Season over, back for a visit, taking in the game today. Serrano for Winder, splits it through, great ball for Wilson, puts it in front. Oh, that traffic, nobody can direct it to goal. Was it one pass too many from Wilson? Could he have gone for goal at his own? One back by Louisville. Serrano, Perez to the end line, Perez cuts it back. Perez floats it for Jansen Wilson, and Amu Mensah has it. Serrano battling. Mensah does just enough to keep it away. And Levi's, with the hustle, turns it into a throw instead of a corner.
Lou City just makes it so difficult to play out. That press, they just suffocate teams into forcing mistakes. And to your point just a few moments ago, for Danny Cruz and feeling like his team could score more goals, that would be that opportunity. There was no shot on goal. It didn't equate to anything on Nate Steinwasser. But as you mentioned, was it one pass too many? Was Wilson the one that should have teed up a shot, instead electing to play it across? But even with that ball played across, there were still good numbers crashing in front of goal.
Now it's Winder. Swings it all the way around to Morris. Jake Morris goes for a goal. He's done that twice now. This one a little bit closer than the first one, but not afraid of having a hit in the starting 11 today in favor of last week's starter. One of the only couple of changes made by Louisville. Aiden McFadden comes out, as did the now injured Kyle Adams. This one just a coach's decision. Morris in, McFadden out. McFadden on the bench, and what a decision that is for Danny Cruz to make the riches that Lou City has in the players, the depth of the squad. And now Morris comes back to make the play. Jake Morris, that is, on Ben Morris making the play. No relation there. Jake Morris, brother of Aiden Morris of the U.S. men's national team and Columbus Crew, however. But no relation between these Morrises.
Those are going to be the opportunities that Detroit City are okay conceding. Those chances from 20, 25 yards out. I know we talked about the sun being in Nate Steinwasser's eyes and it making it a bit more difficult to locate. But now with that said, Lou City has been able to play some of those penetrating balls. We saw the one to Wilson. Seen a couple of those shaped balls in behind to Wilson Harris. haven't seen the influence of Ray Serrano just yet.
Another set piece now for Detroit City. Placing that select ball down. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Now positioned properly. Brett Levi's drives it toward the penalty spot. A lot of bodies there. It crashes off of Matthews last and out for a goal kick. Half an hour come and gone. Scoreless here at Lynn Family Stadium. First of 2 matches around the league today. Later tonight at 10 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. You can catch the action between Monterey Bay and the Charleston Battery. So the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference in action today. Lou City in second at the day's start. Charleston in first. That can't change. Charleston had a 4-point cushion coming in. But again, on a points per game basis, Lou City the top team in the league. This is just their 11th match. Detroit City only playing a 9th match. It is a quirky schedule this year for Detroit City. They've got periods of lengthy stays off of 2.5 weeks, and then periods of a couple of matches in 4 days, 3 and 8, 5 and 12. It's a lot of stop and start for Detroit City.
And this being the first of 3 away games. And then after this, they go to Orange County June 1st, and then at Rhode Island on June 8th. And host Charleston.
Jansen Wilson. Almost snuck it through for Perez, who has it now. Adrian Perez nearly came away with it. Winder, Wilson Harris, now Jake Morris. Cutting in, Morris, 1 touch too heavy. Jope couldn't get there before Tosh. It's out for a Detroit City throw. Again, another case for Lou City where they get in the attacking third, get no further, don't get a clean look, still just 1 shot on target.
These are going to be moments that start to define this match. The more and more they're winning those wide areas for Lou City with Jansen Wilson, with Jake Morris, the more and more you're going to pin Ben Morris back, Ali Coote back. You're going to make it very difficult for Detroit City to build out structurally, offensively, because then you have Matthews as that lone striker, which is where he's comfortable. But still, as a lone striker, you need pieces around you to complement you to be able to play in combination. And if your teammates are so deep, worried about those wide players for Lou City, it just becomes quite a gap.
Ordonez was the man of the match for Lou City last week. Defending Albert Dequop all day long. Against Rhode Island again, did not allow a single shot on target as a team. Tamu Mensah. Still in every game this season for Detroit City. He's been a regular when healthy. Had that ACL tear nearly 2 years ago now. Whipped in from Morris. This is Detroit City in a nutshell. It's spells where they put the foot on the gas and really test you, spells where they don't have much of the ball in the attacking half. But it seems like the start of another flurry here with the corner coming.
You're 100% right. This is reminiscent of how they looked against Indy 11. They had these spells, they had these spurts where they were extremely dangerous, just couldn't connect on that final action.
That's not on the corner arc. We could see that. Game of centimeters. Whipped in toward the back post, and it's punched awkwardly by Laws, and now over the line from Matthews. A lot of bodies in front. Detroit City finds a way, and they have a 1-0 lead.
And misplayed by Damian Loss. Had the huge save on the Ryan Williams set piece earlier in this first half, but fight through this traffic. Now, very well played ball in. Loss fighting through this traffic, working towards the far post. and just gets this punch out wrong, and it comes back along the face of goal. And Matt Sheldon picking up his first goal of the season. Those corner kicks are where you get those defensive players in that final third. They're always opportunistic, always looking for that second ball.
Amid all the bodies, it was Matthews who got the head on it. And then at the very tail end, Sheldon touched it. Looked like it hit the post and went in as well. Serrano. Wilson pushing in. To go in this first half of Detroit City, now playing from in front. Take another look at that goal. You could see right at the tail end here, there's the punch from Loss, the header right there. Sheldon just nudges it along, and he was onside because of the defender on the goal line. Clips the post, goes in. So he gets his first of the season for Detroit City. And only a goal last year in his time with Hartford. Doesn't have to come pretty, just has to happen at some point, and it does for Detroit City.
And you just see on the play that Damian Loss is looking to make, he just missed times. The punch out, and as you mentioned, Matthews, the head on it, and then Sheldon there to put it away. And I was going to say before that play, what both these teams have done an excellent job of is not hurt themselves.
Slipped through from Matthews, Ali Kuhn with it. And Damian Loss comes out and has it. Now all of a sudden, Detroit City with the confidence, Lou City on their heels. Can they get possession and control this game back? Right before Detroit City came down, earned that corner, scored that goal. That's when you saw that really strong stretch from Lou City. Saw a couple looks at goal. Game pivoted on a dime. Serrano. Morris.
You mentioned it earlier. We were highlighting the defensive side for both these teams. You said it. We weren't at all implying that this was going to be a 0-0 match.
Until it was, and people got mad at us.
Yeah. And I think that the first goal was more important for Detroit City. From the side of, you've only scored one in the previous 3 league games. You get one in the first half. It's still early where you have to play for that second one. You're not going to see this game out as we see this tackle from behind from Winder that picks up a yellow, just catching Jope's heels. Whereas for Lou City, they're going to feel comfortable offensively with the 28 goals they've scored this season, the 22 of them they've scored here at home. Out of those 22, 9 of those in the first half, 13 of those in the second half. So they're going to feel like they can overcome any deficit against any opponent. Whereas in Detroit City, as you mentioned, with that ball into Ali Coot, they're starting to feel confident after putting that ball in the back of the net.
There's a bone-dry roofing yellow for Winder. Joins Ordonez in the book. We pointed out their defensive abilities just to show you guys just how good these teams are and how complete these teams are and why. When we showed it to you, they are among the top 5 in the league in points per match. They just haven't had enough matches yet. Wilson Harris looking to get it back for Louisville to have a corner. But just because of that defensive prowess, again, doesn't mean we were expecting 0-0. We know what these teams are capable of. And again, you go back to that quote from Danny Dicchio saying he'd rather win a game or lose a game 3-2 than see a match out 0-0. He wants to go for it. So they get that first one. And now a Wi-Fi corner kick for Lou City. Serrano, not his best service. Comes back out for Perez, blocked. Detroit City doing a great job of getting bodies in the way. Now Wilson serves it up, headed clear. Ordonez keeps it alive for Wilson Harris. Came off his hand, it seemed. Play on, says the referee. Mentioned we have that game coming up later tonight on CBS Sports Network. Charleston Battery visiting Monterey Bay. You can also tune into the CBS Sports Network on Wednesday, June 5th, for a USL Texas Showdown. San Antonio FC against El Paso Locomotive. That's at 9 Eastern.
El Paso taking down the previously unbeaten Charleston Battery at Patriots Point.
Then now Wilmer Cabrera led
El
Paso. That will breathe new life into that group. And a yellow here for James Murphy taking down Wilson Harris.
Seeing that Wilson Harris having that inside position, coming across, slowing the play down. James Murphy, you know the importance and the physicality that he plays with. He's gonna have to see the rest of this game out, sitting on that yellow, having to be smart with where and when he engages in those 1v1s. Sits right in front of those two center backs. Screening passes, disrupting play.
Set piece now for Louisville. Blood through the sock there for Ryan Williams. Looked it. Either that or he's just going with the whole LaRouge theme here for Detroit City. It's covered up at least. Fake from Perez, taken by Serrano. Secondary ball in, number still forward, and Lou City is level again. Arturo Ordonez.
And that second wave from Lou City, that delivery was spot on. The shape, the pace from Wes Sharpie, this in-swinger, and Ordonez gets the timing and locates it perfectly and levels this game before the half. Make it 10 first half goals here at home in 2024 for Lou City.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education at Kentucky Lottery. And if it's not enough to have the likes of Wilson Harris and Ray Serrano, you get a center back to a center back on that goal for Lou City. It can come from anyone, anywhere, anytime.
And that goes back to when you lead the league in goals scored, it's not coming from isolated moments. It's not coming from isolated positional units, the forwards getting all the goals. I mentioned the 14 goals amongst the front three, but it comes from the complement of the roles. And this back three, how dangerous they are in the run of play, on the dribble, playing through lines. The delivery, you mentioned center back to center back. I mean, and then I know he wasn't involved in this goal, but Sean Tosh, how positive he is on the ball with delivery and those entry passes as well.
Tosh is the USL record holder for goals by defenders. So there you go, the third center back of the pair, the one who you maybe expect to be involved when it's a center back in question scoring for Louisville. Wasn't even One of the two involved in that one. That celebration, though, from Ordonez, somebody's going to have to ask him about it this week. It looked like he gave like a cobra symbol, and my mind is spinning now. You look at the purple and black. Is that a dodgeball reference with the Globo Gym Cobras here because of the purple? Somebody's got to ask him this week what that celebration exactly is. That was the first thing that crossed my mind.
Well, you can only hope that it's a dodgeball reference.
Well, if you can dodge a wrench. 45th minute here between Lou City and Detroit City, all knotted up at 1. Wilson Harris picks it up after the giveaway. Morris, past Sheldon. Morris, I think it came off of him last. Good bit of defending by Sheldon. And we'll say it is actually a corner. Another Wi-Fi corner kick here for Louisville. So after going behind 1-0, momentum on their side, can they take a lead into the break? 2 minutes of stoppage time coming, brought to you by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Serrano's service, body's there. Harris near it, punched away. Perez keeps it alive. Floated and deflected out for another corner.
And Detroit City has been a bit touch and go on these corner deliveries. Serrano has had some tough questions to ask of this Detroit City side. It's been a few that he hasn't been able to clear past the first defender, but had that wide open chance by Davila on the first corner of the game.
This is now the 5th, and after that first one, they haven't had any opportunities. Although, to be fair, in the recycle after that last set piece is when they got the goal. So not initially from the first service, but opportunities have been there, and now a stern conversation between our referee, Matthew Corrigan, and 2 players on yellows already, mind you, Elijah Winder and James Murphy. So as they retreat here and presumably lock horns again for this corner, keep that in mind. They're on the referee's radar. They already both have yellows, and they are buddy-buddy next to each other again in front of Steinwasser. That seems like a recipe for something. Serrano's service, shoved down in front was Toe. She was pleading for a penalty. Rarely do you see that given with all the bodies in front, but he seemed adamant that he was taken down.
And the fans seconding that motion.
Two minutes come and gone. And there's the whistle to end half number 1. Matt Sheldon got Detroit City on the board first in the 34th minute, but it only took 8 minutes for Arturo Ordonez to level things for Louisville.
The next goal is going to be really important, and I think we have a matchup where both these teams are going to come out in the second half and push for that next goal.
Elijah Winder still having words with the referee. Started to get testy in the late stage of that first half as well. These two teams have no love lost. They are 2 of the best teams in the conference, 2 of the best teams in the league. And we've been treated to a good one so far through 45. Louisville 1, Detroit City 1. Second half from Lynn Family Stadium should be a good one after an action-packed first 45. Glad to have you with us here on the Golazo Network. First of 2 games around the league tonight in USL Championship, and all level at 1.
When Thompsons first bought their house, all they saw was their dream home. They didn't yet know that with a home equity line of credit from Commonwealth Credit Union, it would be their keys to epic cannonballs and the chance to see the world. As years went by, it allowed them to empower the next generation and make happily ever after come true. Which begs the question, what could your home be doing for you? Let's find out together. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
WDRB Plus is an app you can download on your TV through Apple TV, Roku, or Fire TV. Just like your phone has an app store, these devices have an app store as well. If you type in WDRB Plus in the search bar, the app will appear. Once the app appears, just scroll over and click download. And the best part is, it's free. You can watch WDRB Plus original content like WDRB Crossroads, Overtime with Bozich and Crawford, and Beat the Spread. And you have access to 24/7 news. Download it today.
The early starts to the late nights. There's always a story to be told. Stories about celebration in the community. Maybe you'd like to hear stories about protecting you and your family. There are stories about adventure, mystery, tragedy, weather, even stories about becoming a champion. Around here, the stories never end, and we'll be here to tell them all. WDRB News, the source.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can capture all the moments that make summer, summer. Like driving a RAV4 to wade in a waterfall.
Nice.
Cruising to play mini golf in a Camry. Or taking a Tundra to the beach.
You're not gonna leave me here, are you?
Get a new 24 RAV4 or electrified RAV4 hybrid with 4.75 APR financing. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 for $289 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
A neatly contested first half between Louisville City FC and Detroit City FC. What you come to expect when these teams meet, especially in their current form. So looking ahead, as they try to keep this form up, Lou City, their next 5 games, they've gotten some travel out of the way already, but they have plenty more travel coming up. 3 of the next 5 on the road.
Yeah, and you look at, not to skip ahead, but you go to that Tampa Bay Rowdies matchup. Pittsburgh Riverhounds got off to a slow start, but Bob Lilly's side playing like a Bob Lilly team, tough to score on and scoring in a timely manner. And a game, that reverse fixture against Rhode Island, that 0-0 draw at Rhode Island, now hosting them. But a trip down to South Florida to face Miami FC this Saturday starts this 5-game stretch.
On the other side for Detroit City, it's nice to see the distance between these dates a little bit shorter after they went 18 days between matches ahead of this one. And you get Orange County coming up first on the road, and then Rhode Island on the road as well.
Yeah, and the tests just keep coming. I mean, at Orange County is not an easy match. And then we talked about how difficult Rhode Island is to play. Defensively, they're collecting a lot of draws. They're tough to beat. And then you play another top team in the East in Charleston Battery. Birmingham, always tough. And then Lou City starting this 5-game stretch with Miami FC. Detroit City finishing the 5-game stretch at Miami.
I do have a break there, though, between Charleston and Birmingham. So that's what we talked a bit about in that first half, where there's stretches of a lot of games very quickly, and then stretches where they do have some time away for Detroit City. So that's what's ahead. Before that, we've got 45 more minutes of Lou City and Detroit City. Sun streaming down, a little water for the field as well. These fans have been into it the whole way. Plenty of road fans for Detroit City as well. More to come from Lynn Family Stadium.
You'll get it done.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Traeger up over the top. Tristan Traeger. It's in.
Opportunity here. The hits and a goal.
The best nights start with Jägermeister. Made with 56 botanicals. Always served ice cold.
Take a miracle to come back from this. Heartbreaking end to the season. But what's this?
For the moments when anticipation
Clock's counting down. 5 seconds. 3, 2,
becomes celebration. Jägermeister. Meister the moment.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
looks great.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can capture all the moments that make summer, summer. Like driving a RAV4 to wade in a waterfall.
Nice.
Cruising to play mini golf in a Camry. Or taking a Tundra to the beach.
You're not going to leave me here, are you?
Get a new 24 RAV4 or electrified RAV4 hybrid with 4.75 APR financing. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 for $289 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
Stopin-All was able to rise for 1 goal score right in front of them as Louisville City equalized after going down against Detroit City. Take a look around USL Championship now with some news and notes. Hard to believe that when we get to this weekend, it is June already. And as you look further ahead to July, you've got the Open Cup quarterfinals, plenty of USL representation. Is there a dark horse for you there?
A dark horse? I mean, Indy 11 looked really good against Detroit City, but New Mexico, Sacramento, huge win against San Jose. I mean, a tough win in extra time.
Antelope Valley Alta FC joining next year as well as League One continues to expand, and that CBS schedule continues to expand. Just announced Oakland Roots Sacramento on July 21st, and this Detroit City FC side against Rhode Island on August 3rd. Now, talking more about Open Cup here. This is the bracket for the last 8. You've got Sacramento hosting Seattle, and on this left side, you have New Mexico visiting LAFC. You could have an interesting scenario here if Sacramento and New Mexico are both able to pull it off, where you're going to guarantee yourself a USL Championship team in the final after an all-USL semifinal.
Yeah, and on the other side, Atlanta playing Indy and then Dallas Sporting KC and then going back to the Sacramento game, having to do it without Rodrigo Lopez getting injured in that win over San Jose. So big matchup with Seattle, and as you mentioned, intriguing matchup if both those teams advance, New Mexico and Sacramento Republic.
And the same thing sets up here for Sacramento as it was in 2022, where they were at home in the round of 16, and they have a chance to be at home in a semifinal. The only difference, they're actually on the road in the quarterfinal. Last time they had to go at LA Galaxy, this time home against Seattle. So there's their run in to possibly going back to another final in US Open Cup. The team of the week here in USL Championship was led this past week by Armando Moreno, and that's a big help for an El Paso side that's looking to get back on track.
Yeah, a brace for Moreno in that win against Charleston Battery. Jack Blake continues to have Indy 11 in tremendous form. And Oscar Jimenez, Staffer, and then Coque Vegas. I mean, Rhode Island has been so difficult to score on this season. And then Ryan Martin, USL Coach of the Week.
United has had a really nice spell as of late, flooring below from that Loudoun side. Zach Ryan from that Loudoun United side getting in the team of the week as well. We'll see who might try and put their name on the team of the week for next week with a strong second half here between Louisville City and Detroit City, all knotted up at 1. Second 45 on the way.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the third health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I'm finally feeling control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can capture all the moments that make summer, summer. Like driving a RAV4 to wade in a waterfall.
Nice.
Cruising to play mini golf in a Camry. Or taking a Tundra to the beach.
You're not going to leave me here, are you?
Get a new 24 RAV4 or electrified RAV4 hybrid with 4.75 APR financing. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 for $289 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
How do you get your news?
Is WDRB the soundtrack to your morning routine?
Or you can scroll on the go with the WDRB News app.
If you've already cut the cord, start streaming our news on WDRB+.
Maybe you like to read a more in-depth story and you use WDRB.com.
When weather's the biggest story of your day, the WDRB weather app has video forecasts and radar.
However you choose to get your news, WDRB is the source.
WDRB Plus is an app you can download on your TV through Apple TV, Roku, or Fire TV. Just like your phone has an app store, these devices have an app store as well. If you type in WDRB Plus in the search bar, the app will appear. Once the app appears, just scroll over and click download. And the best part is, it's free. You can watch WDRB Plus original content like WDRB Crossroads, Overtime with Bozich and Crawford, and Beat the Spread. And you have access to 24/7 news. Download it today.
Just about set to begin half number 2 between Louisville and Detroit City. A look back at the first 45. Plenty of opportunities for both of these teams. 17 combined shots, 5 on target, and a goal each.
And it was Lou City asking the early questions. Wilson Harris testing from distance. The deflection earns the early corner that finds Davila on the far post, just misses it, and continuing to play on the front foot. And it's the interchange that Lou City features. Jensen Wilson taking that higher space from Perez and him testing from distance on that left foot. And then this corner, this timed play from Damian Loss. The helpful header here from Matthews to find Matt Sheldon, who puts away his first goal of the season. And Lou City not to be outdone in regards to a defender scoring a goal. Here's another chance from Ali Coote. Good play ball. And that was that confidence, that momentum initially after that opening goal. And as I mentioned, not to be outdone, center back to center back, Wes Sharpie. This is coming from a recycled ball off a corner. You have Ordonez up there, you have Sean Tosh, you have those defenders, and Ordonez, the beneficiary here, times it extremely well, finding the back of the net, beating Nate Steinwasser. We see the numbers, the possession, 56% for Detroit City, and then the shots 12-5 in favor of Lou City.
And Nate Steinwasser, a really difficult goalkeeper to beat in this league here. So to beat him on a header from basically the penalty spot just tells you exactly what Ordonez got on that one.
Yeah, it's that sequence where you have Nate Steinwasser moving right to left and then catching him back to his right. And that's so difficult for a goalkeeper to make that save. And then the placement from Ordonez was just spot on. It was going to be impossible for Nate Steinwasser with the movement, but as you mentioned, he's so difficult to beat. And both these goalkeepers having a good first half. Damian Loss, that big save on Ryan Williams on the free kick, and then the save on that play into Ali Coote.
Detroit City trying to get another victory over Lou City. They had that early lead. Lou City battled back. And 5 meetings so far under the USL Championship umbrella. 4 in regular season, 1 in the postseason. Lou City dominating at 4-1 overall. So 45 more on the way for Detroit City to try and change that as they go left to right in the white and gold. Lou City right to left in the purple. We got some subs to get you on both sides out of the gates here to begin this second half. Jorge Gonzalez out there now on the Lou City side. Reese Williams, Alex Villanueva out there on the Detroit City side. Is Ray Serrano, who came off for Jorge Gonzalez on the Lou City side. Didn't seem to pick up a knock that we saw in that first half. So an interesting decision to take off Serrano after 45, bring on Gonzalez. Plenty of depth in this Lou City side. The way Serrano's looked this year. Early ending for him tonight after just 45 minutes.
But as we mentioned as well in that first 45, not a consistent influence in that first half. The deliveries were spot on, but in the run of play, it was difficult to find some success on that left flank. Give Detroit City a different look now here to start the second half.
I thought they were going to be in right away, but foul goes against Lou City. Glad to have you with us now as we begin half number 2 on Golasso Network with Eric Dobransky. I'm Joe Malfa. 1-1 between Lou City and Detroit City. Visitors scored in the 34th minute through Matt Sheldon. Arturo Ordonez equalized for the home side just 8 minutes later. And McFadden comes in for Wilson. And Gonzalez for Serrano. All subs brought to you by Fortna. One change on the Detroit City side. Brett Levi's comes off, Reese Williams comes on. Here's Morris. Flips one toward the back post. Harris is there. Steinwasser saves.
And Gonzalez looking at the referee, asking the question. There wasn't a foul given there, but early delivery. Very similar to the movement that Ordonez was able to beat Steinwasser on the Lou City goal, getting him moving right to left. Actually there, Wilson Harris unable to put that ball where he wanted. Just found the waiting arms of Nate Steinwasser. A positive start, very reminiscent of the start from the first half. The repress, the positivity going forward, the energy.
Morris keeps it in, slips it through for Perez. Jope tracking back. Perez slips it through. Gonzalez back for Perez, off the bar and in. Brilliant from Lou City all around. The build, the finish, and now in the lead.
Just special individual performances. And it starts with Jake Morris keeping this ball alive along that sideline. And then Perez with his own little move around Jope in that wide area to free himself up. And then the continued run, the finish, I mean, just tremendous from Lou City. And the start that they were envisioning, get the late goal to equalize in the first half. You completely flip the narrative going into that break. We talked about those early chances in that first half, that spell where they created some of those half chances, weren't able to test Nate Steinwasser. Similar pace to start this second half, but now they add that final action.
Another goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery, second of the year for Perez. And we talked about it, the maybe interesting sub there, unless there's a knock we don't know about, for Ray Serrano coming off at the break for Jorge Gonzalez. Pays dividends, comes right on, and enters the score sheet as the man who registers the assist. Jorge Gonzalez, now in his third year with Louisville. It's his second assist of the year. Leon Perez, his second goal of the year, and now Gonzalez goes again. Gonzalez goes for goal, and it's deflected out for a corner. Instant impact.
You could see the space opening up between this midfield line of Detroit City and their back line. Something that they're going to want to fix immediately and stay a bit more compact. See this delivery from Gonzalez.
Short, Perez. A couple of blocks and deflections on the way through. Well, they came out guns blazing in the second half, Lou City. Saw plenty of opportunities in that first half, again, with a dozen shots and 3 of them on target. But just really hadn't reined enough of them in to be as threatening as they would hope. Now it's Detroit City's turn to respond. 2 unanswered from Louisville. Coote. Swung in over the top to the back post. And out of play.
going back to that goal, I mean, just go to that individual moment by Jake Morris to keep that ball alive on the bounce. It almost surprised Perez that he kept it alive. Puts Perez in that corner, and his ability to drag Jope out in that wide space and then explode centrally. And you mentioned it, Gonzalez making that immediate impact as he's doing it defensively as well.
Just a quick correction, it was Alex Villanueva who came on for Detroit City, not Reese Williams. There's your change on the Detroit City side. Here is Villanueva, he just lets it go. Realized it was probably on its way out. Yellow cards to keep in mind from the first half. Murphy for Detroit City, Winder and Ordonez for Lou City.
Chance to respond for Detroit City. This corner kick.
That's how they got their first goal. Ryan Williams will be the trigger man once again. Looking for Yazid Matthews. You'd imagine the big target in front. It's sent his way. It's Amu Mensah on the back end. Matthews was lurking. Amu Mensah got on the end of it. Another threatening moment from a corner for Detroit City.
What you have to like from both these sides on their free kicks, their corners, is the physicality that they present. Ability to bump runners. Get in there and put their nose in the play where it might not free them up to be on the end of the service, but it can free up a teammate. And we mentioned for Detroit City missing Maxi Rodriguez and those free kick deliveries. Ryan Williams has been pretty deadly with those services. I mean, he was really close on that free kick in the first half that put Damian Loss into a tough save. And
it's Ali Coote after the giveaway by Lou City. Coote for Matthews. Trying to step back on it for Coote. I don't know if they were on the same page there. That last heavy touch from Coote, Matthews seemed to think was a pass. Coote seemed to think it was a touch. And Louisville seemed to think that it was a nice gift for them as the attack died down.
Yeah, they didn't mind the miscue whatsoever.
Williams in his return to USL Championship this season. Spent the last couple of years in Sweden. 2017 was with Ottawa, 2019 with Hartford. Nearly a decade spent in England's lower tiers before then. You mentioned what he's been able to do on these set pieces, getting the start tonight. That's his first assist of the season. Actually, I guess he didn't get credit for it because of the way it ended up coming in off of Sheldon. Matthews from Sheldon goes for goal, slices it wide. And just housekeeping and no official assist anymore on that Detroit City goal with the traffic in front as it bounded through for Sheldon. But it was, again, all Williams who started it from the corner. And Matthews, look out, ball kid. That was the most threatening part of that. The ball kid right behind the net.
Your head on a swivel there.
Tosh down, holding his left side. Another 90 minutes last game for Sean Tosh. Coming into tonight. 9th in USL Championship in appearances, 6th in minutes. This is his 249th game tonight. It's getting closer and closer to 20,000 minutes. Again, 19,841 coming into tonight. So if he gets through 4 more minutes, he gets to 19,900. Goes the whole way tonight. It'll be next game that he's able to cross the 20,000 minute threshold.
It's incredible. I mean, not only what it takes to play at this level, this high level on a day in, day out basis, but just to take care of yourself as well. I mean, to make yourself available, the best ability is availability, and does that and his play on the field.
I think it looks like he'll be fine to continue. Played every minute last season. 6 goals. It's 4 years running now that he's made an all-league team. 3 straight first-team all-league from 2020 through 22. Second-team all-league last year. And a straight elbow from Perez ends that attack before it begins for Louisville.
Even before this foul, as we see Perez picking up the yellow, I mean, Jorge Gonzalez has come on, and pretty much any time the ball has crossed half field, he's been involved or somewhere around the play, opening that up for Perez and picking up the yellow, that elbow to James Murphy.
Morris. You can tell this attack for Detroit City is still missing something creatively without Maxi Rodriguez tonight. Haven't talked much about it, but there's moments there in the pocket between the heart of the midfield and that front line where Rodriguez so magically operates for this group at times. Jope is filling in adequately. Speaks the depth of this midfield and the talent in this midfield for Detroit City, but you're lacking that final step, that final motion, that final pass and look forward that Rodriguez brings.
Yeah, Maxi Rodriguez, he makes a backline, opponent's backline, make decisions every time he's on the ball, whether you have to step to Maxi Rodriguez and then you're leaving space in behind, or you're late to step and Maxi Rodriguez can beat you with that service, that long service, or shooting from distance himself.
Well, they had a foul drawn at the one end. Now it's Detroit City going the other way over the head of Matthews, cleared by Sharpie. The Winder settles for Gonzalez. Another quiet, steady evening in the heart of that midfield for Winder. Somebody who's really caught your eye and impressed you so far this season. It really felt like a matter of time as he worked his way back from that freak injury a couple of years ago. And he would ramp up to full speed and his full potential here now at 21 years of age. Comeback Player of the Year in 2022. Put a stamp on it last year, growing into a larger role, and now has been irreplaceable for Lou City. That one just out of his reach.
And reinforces all those non-negotiables for Lou City. I mean, this is a team comprised of players that are absolutely committed to their roles, and Elijah Winder being one of those at the forefront. This is a team that likes to press and win that ball higher up the field, and you need a midfield that reinforces that press. And Winder being that player, and another one that stands out as well is Wilson Harris. His team, 2 goals tonight. He has not been on the score sheet, but you see a center forward like Wilson Harris press and work as hard as he does defensively. And that just puts everybody behind you aware of what the standard is and where your next press is going to come from.
Now we're gone here at Lynn Family Stadium. Detroit City went up 1-0 in the 34th. 8 minutes later, Lou City equalized, and then 3 minutes in the second half, Perez gives them a 2-1 lead. Glad to have had you with us this evening. With the coach Eric Dobransky, I'm Joe Malfa. One more game to come tonight in USL Championship. Again, that's at 10 Eastern out west. Monterey Bay hosting Charleston Battery on CBS Sports Network. Here's Wilson Harris off the giveaway. Harris makes Detroit City pay, and Lou City leads 3-1.
Just outstanding from Wilson Harris. And this is where Lou City has been fantastic all season, is not settling, always looking to upgrade, gets his head up, sees the numbers committing into the box, knows that he needs to delay for just a moment, and then puts it on that left foot and just buries this punishing strike. Head up, the pullback, just the power and the placement from that angle. That 9th goal of the season for Wilson Harris. Just complimenting what he does off the ball defensively. In just a moment, he showcases what he does on the ball.
Another goal brought to you by Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. 2 changes here for Detroit City, brought to you by Fortna. Victor Becerra in, Reese Williams in, Yazid Matthews and Ali Coote out. Uncharacteristic mistake on the back end there from Carroll, who had a chance to either possess it or clear it to safety. Gave it right back to Wilson Harris, who did the rest. And as you mentioned, 9 goals on the season, 10 in all competitions. And he matches his 2023 season total. Had 9 goals in the regular season last year to go with 2 assists. Has 9 goals and 1 assist already here in 2024. He is well ahead of pace to break his career high of 15 from 2 seasons ago. Forget breaking it, on pace to shatter that 15 mark from 2 seasons ago.
In the season that Nick Marcanic at Charleston Battery and Wilson Harris are having, I mean, you talk about single season and Nick Marcanic playing, you mentioned that later game, Monterey Bay. Nick Marcanic with 13 goals last season, so.
Open behind and nearly a response from Detroit City.
Yeah, that would have been an important timing there for Detroit City, because the longer this game stays at 3-1, the tougher this mountain to climb is going to be. Saw it with the introduction of Jorge Gonzalez for Lou City. The quick introduction for Becerra up front. Having that shot from wide angle. Here he is again.
Becerra, end line, slips it back from Morris. Heavy touch, bobbled it. Still loose in front, and it's touched wide by Las. Nearly again, but nearly not good enough right now for Detroit City as they try to find a way back.
And you could see what these saves mean to Damian Las, especially after conceding that goal to Detroit City. That misplay off that corner, he has come up big.
Williams corner. First to it was Morris. Now Perez on the run. It's his goal that would be the game winner as of now. Gave them that 2-1 lead. Back to Wilson Harris for a moment. Again, 9 goals through now 11 starts. He is on pace to certainly eclipse the 20 mark. And at this clip, 20-25 is probably not out of the question if he can sustain it and stay healthy. But the way he looks and the way he fits in this attack this year, there were moments last year where it seemed like he was ready to break out, and Lou City as a whole seemed ready to break out last year, and it would be a game here and then it would be 2 steps back. A game here and 2 steps back. The consistency is there this year. Harris nearly. Steinwasser read it. But it just feels like Louisville has more in them tonight than the 3-1 lead than they already have.
And it's all about being multidimensional. I said it in the first 45 that some of these trends start to expose themselves. Opponents start to look at those. You know, you look at possibly like a Lou City and you have opponents that go, okay, let's shut Wilson Harris down, make somebody else beat us. Okay, you have Ray Serrano, you have Wilson. I mean,
you had a center back, center back goal tonight.
Yes, exactly. So that's that multi-dimensional feature that Lou City possesses, and you know, and that's where Detroit City is trying to get to. And you could see the build-up. You could see the chances that they're creating. They're just missing that final moment.
Out to McFadden. Overlap from Perez. McFadden loops it in himself. Volley from Morris, blasted across. Not sure what his intention was there. Seemed like he had some time to bring it down. Continue the attack for Lou City. Sheldon, who opened the scoring tonight. Just off of Sheldon, well defended by Morris. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
You were just talking a moment ago about Wilson Harris, you know, eclipsing that 20-25 goal mark. And the Golden Boot winner was I think 20 goals last season, Albert Dikwa. For
Golden
Pittsburgh.
Boot and MVP.
Yeah.
Did a double last year.
Yep.
It seems like it's going to be a fun race among others. As of now, as the foul goes against Louisville, the race you're seeing between Charleston and Louisville, that might be your Coach of the Year race between Ben Pierman and Danny Cruz. That might be your MVP and Golden Boot race between Wilson Harris and Nick Marcanic. There's going to be a lot of awards, it seems like, doled out among those teams. Throw Aaron Malloy into that MVP mix and what he brings to the table for Charleston. It seems early on, again, we're about a third of the way through. The calendar flips to June this weekend. A lot of the awards will be distributed, it seems, between those two teams. For now, a lot could change between now and the end of the season, and it certainly will. But early return suggests quite the race between Louisville and Charleston this year. There's another set-piece opportunity is squandered by Detroit City. 3 unanswered goals for Louisville.
And Nick Marcanic for Charleston, 4-goal performance against Las Vegas at home. 6-0 win. And then talk about that race for the Golden Boot. I mean, Cal Jennings and Arteaga, 8 goals apiece.
Well, Adames now up to 6 as well for Colorado Springs, who got off to an incredibly slow start. And they've turned it around and have rattled off win after win after win as he's climbed up the goal-scoring charts. Certainly not lacking for striker play in this league at the moment. You can see a lot of gaudy numbers. To actually start diving in, maybe thinking about that, how many times we've seen multiple 20-goal scorers in a season, and if that could be a mark that falls this year, given what we've seen so far.
It's a great point.
20 minutes to go here. Louisville in control with those 3 unanswered goals.
Detroit City can cut into this deficit in the next 10 minutes. Gives them plenty of time to push for the equalizer.
Long run for Harris. He'll get there. Harris looking for Davila. Villanueva taken down.
Detroit substitution in the match number 11, Trevor Russ, losing number 8.
That'll be all for Abdoulaye Diop. Connor Rutz replaces. Two changes coming for Lou City. Niall McCabe, Sam Gleedle Both set to come on. They'll wait, though, for the next changeover here. Just pulled them back for some final instructions. Slipped through nearly for Becerra. And a heavy tackle here from the newly inserted Ruts. Wastes no time picking up a yellow.
First involvement in the game. Earns himself a yellow. Now, with this 2-goal deficit, it forces Detroit City to open and play a bit more positive in regards to throwing numbers forward. You want to be careful yourself, City side. Does not concede a lot, and then does not concede a lot here at home as well.
Now up to 25 goals scored at home, 5 goals conceded at home. Maybe on their way to 6-0-0 at home. We talked about it in the first half, how Lou City and the coaching staff are into the advanced analytics, and they're into some of those metrics to be checkpoints as the year goes along. One of them being points per game. And there's a target number they have based on just the landscape of USL over the last couple of years. What points per game target would typically get you home field throughout the postseason? They are mindful of that every step of the way. That shows you what their goals are. Just put another star above the crest to end this little championship drought they've had. And they want it all to run through Lynn Family Stadium. You can see why. Morris goes for goal. Oh, what a finish! The exclamation point on the evening. Jake Morris with his second of the season. And it is all Louisville tonight.
And a spectacular finish. You could see him let this play develop, head up, looking for what runs are available. Just continuing to drive. He's got Stephen Carroll on his back foot. Head up, and this left-footed rocket. Bottom corner, beats Nate Steinwasser to his left. And it was Jake Morris that initiated the play that for the Perez goal, the second goal for Lou City. Another special individual sequence for Jake Morris, but that's just so how tough Lou City is to play out of that press.
Another goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. And it's going to give you fans a lot to think about tonight. You can head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/Lou City. You've got 4 different goal scorers. You've got a lot of candidates for that Man of the Match tonight. Brought down by the newly inserted Bryant. 5th and final sub for Detroit City. Now Danny Dicchio's side just trying to stop the bleeding. 4 unanswered by Lou City after Detroit City got the opening goal. Crowd chanting, "We want 5." And given their track record this year, why not? You alluded earlier to that 6-0 over Hartford, had a 3-0 over Orange County, had a 5-3 over Indy. They have put up some numbers this year, especially at home.
I mean, you mentioned, and it's spot on. 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers. But I would also add 4 different ways. And it just, you continue to try to, you talked about the analytics that Lou City present.
Morris trying to get one back here.
To drive that point home in terms of the points per game and what has historically gotten you home field advantage through the playoffs. But the execution in that final third, I mean, it has just been class. Not only just here at home, but throughout this season. You get the equalizer off a recycled service from Wes Sharpie Ordonez gets the goal. Then you have the combination with Jake Morris, Perez, that slipped ball in by Jorge Gonzalez. Then you have the individual brilliance by Wilson Harris. And just a tremendous finish by Jake Morris for the 4th goal.
Now it's McCabe. A stiff challenge put in by Amu Mensah. Here's where the detractors of expected goals can have some ammunition. On this evening, 1.71 for Detroit City, 0.88 for Louisville City. Actual score 4-1 Louisville City. It's a metric that serves its purpose when it comes to chance creation, but sometimes you do have to go beyond that and just let the game speak for itself. And to your point, 4 different ways for Lou City tonight running through the goals. A header from a center back on a ball in from a center back. The brilliant build-up then between Perez and Gonzalez. Off the crossbar and in for Perez. Wilson Harris takes it away, blasted upper 90. Las has this one lined up. And then your 4th goal, Morris picks the pocket from outside the 18, bottom corner. So you've got different ways. You've got 2 defenders who score. You've got a midfielder and a striker who score, and not necessarily high percentage opportunities either. Even Ordonez's header was from beyond the penalty spot, but just perfectly placed, perfectly weighted beyond Steinwasser.
And that 6-0 game against Hartford featured 6 different goal scorers as well.
Now, Louisville 2024 ticket packages available now. Lou City's next home match coming up on June 8th at 8 p.m. Bring your family and friends to Lynn Family Stadium when the boys in purple face North Carolina FC. Tickets available at loucity.com/tickets. They continue to put on shows here at Lynn Family Stadium. Come out and see it in person if you'd like. Again, going to 6-0-0 tonight at home, and doing so with a goal differential of +21. 26 scored, only 5 allowed in the 6 games at home.
And a reminder that they did this conceding first.
Yes.
Detroit City getting that lead in that first half, that late response from Lou City to equalize.
To go here in Louisville. Pressure from Gonzalez. Helps win it back for Lou City. McCabe, Harris, out wide for Gonzalez. An assist already tonight. Gonzalez, well defended by Michael Bryant.
You could see in the buildup of that sequence, that front 3 matched up 1v1 along that back line. You had Glito, Amu Mensah, Wilson Harris, Stephen Carroll, and Jorge Gonzalez matched up on that left side. So we see a yellow card coming out. Looks like it was issued to the one along this sideline.
Yellow for Danny Cruz.
I would love to know what he's saying at a 4-1
thing. We know his mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
We know he's always looking for more. So in a 4-1 game, what could he have possibly been upset about? But that's his mindset, as Las has this one in the conversation in the first half, that he said it would come across as greedy, but he wants more finishing from a team that was pacing the league already, as he felt there were opportunities left out there. Again, that gives you a glimpse at the way his mind works. He picks up a yellow here, up 4-1.
And it's that idea that it's 0-0 every minute. You got to stack minutes, you got to stack plays, and with stacking plays, you're going to stack momentum. And yes, you're up 4-1, but guess what? That 4th goal happened in the past. Now it's about owning what's right in front of you. And And that would go for the same for Detroit City. Yes, you're down 4-0, but if this scoreline holds and this result, as it looks like it's going to with about 8 minutes left, depending on what we have in added time, still be your second loss. You're still 5-2-2 with everything in front of you. Now, we mentioned you got 2 away games, starting out with Orange County on June 1st and then going to Rhode Island.
Toledo looking for Harris. Toledo keeps the pressure up. It deflects in. Harris, Toledo comes back, taken down. Penalty. It is just swarming pressure from Lou City. Any way you turn, if you're Michael Bryant, feels like you're playing against 22 purple jerseys, and a chance from 12 yards out to make it 5.
Just relentless from Lou City, and what I think a lot of teams, when you press the way Lou City does, what a lot of teams don't do well, and Lou City do, is screen passes, because you just mentioned it. That's how you make your team of 11 feel like 22, is you can't always win every single 1v1 battle and matchup. You can't cover all that ground. But when you screen passes and you take away options with just occupying those channels, it makes it impossible to play out. And that's how you earn a penalty like this. You're relentless in the press, and you win it higher up the field, and you take that initial touch into the box, and you make Detroit City make a tough play.
Well, a few times in the last 8 minutes since Lou City made it 4-1, the crowd broke into a "We Want 5" chant, and now Wilson Harris can give it to him. He provided the 3rd goal of the evening for Lou City. It was his 9th of the season. He could give these fans the 5th that they want and bring his own tally to 10 in 2024. Harris against Steinwasser, and he does just that. 10 goals in 2024 for Wilson Harris.
And 5 unanswered for Lou City after conceding first. You talk about the standards within this team, within this organization. And for Danny Cruz and this team, they have to be pleased with the response after conceding first. The relentless pressure here, the giveaway, forcing Stephen Carroll into the turnover, and Sam Glito the drive in the box. And then the deception on this penalty taken by Wilson Harris, who, as you mentioned, records his 10th goal of the season, forcing Nate Steinwasser the wrong way.
Starts, 10 goals, Wilson Harris. 15 from 2 seasons ago, his career high. So long as he stays healthy, I mean, there's a chance he doubles that career high. Can we talk 30? Is that too much? Probably
Yeah.
Too much. That's asking a lot. 10 in 11 games is an impressive mark, but it's rare for that to continue season long. But you never know. Again, the way this team can swarm you, especially at home, the gaudy numbers they put up, and it's split through to Williams and gobbled up by Las. You just run down the list now of their performances at home. Again, 6, 5, 5, 5, 3. They put up ridiculous totals at home.
Yeah, going back to what you and I were talking about a few moments ago before the Wilson Harris goal, in the variety and the different goal scorers in the 4 goals, I would also add that all these goals have been collective. I know I talked about some of the individual brilliance in the Jake Morris goal, in the Perez goal that starts with that wide play, and then the moment for Wilson Harris on his first goal from that wide area. I mean, but they've all come from collective moments as well, whether it's a repress that forces a bad turnover, the goal that they just had that earned the penalty kick, the press that turns Stephen Carroll into the turnover.
How's this for depth? Dylan Maris gets to make his first appearance of the season. Haven't seen him yet in 2024. Comes out now for Davila. And tonight, your Lynn Family Sports Vision Training Man of the Match is Jake Morris, as voted on by the fans. It was his goal in the 74th minute. That made it 4-1, Lou City.
He's been explosive out in that wide area, the creativity. And then when you complement the creativity with the high level of execution that he's had, he had a couple early shots from distance in that first half that went awry a bit. They went high and wide, but it's been dangerous since then as he sends this service high and over.
Hey, shoot or shoot.
Yeah. I was just about to say is you don't score goals if you don't take the shot. And or what is it? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right.
Is it? It's the mantra of Jake Morris.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott,
Yeah.
Jake Morris. This is the 4th time this season they've scored 5 or more at home. A 5-3 win, a 5-0 win, a 6-0 win. And now tonight, continue to put the pressure on the Charleston Battery at the top of the standings. Louisville City remains your points per match leader in USL Championship. They are 1 point behind Charleston with a game in hand. At the end of tonight, again, that will be 2 games in hand on Charleston as the Battery coming up at 10 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Visit Monterey Bay. Take some time, grab a snack, grab a drink, and then sit right back down. We'll have about, it seems like 20 minutes or so between the final whistle of this one and the kick of that one.
And a huge match for Monterey Bay. Hot start to the season, and they've sputtered here in the last 5. And then Charleston coming off that. I think everybody thought a surprising loss to El Paso. El Paso side that sits at the bottom of the West. Coming off that coaching change, Wilmer Cabrera, his first game in charge. You're thinking, great, you go on the road, play at Patriots Point, host a flying Charleston Battery, take the 2-1 win there. But going back to the goals scored, the 27 goals scored that Lou City have here at home, they're tied for second in the league in scoring just here at home. 27 is how many goals Charleston scored on the season.
In 12 games.
In 12 games.
That's how many they have here in 6 games. Morris, Gonzalez, Jorge Gonzalez weaving through another corner now for Louisville, brought to you by Wi-Fi.
And you could just see the frustration with the Detroit City defenders right now, putting hands up, trying to figure out how to slow down this potent offense for Lou City. And when you have defenders trying to protect that end line and deny that service, and then you could feature that cutback as we saw with the Wilson Harris goal.
Back post toward Ordonez. Maris will track it down. Four additional minutes brought to you by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Morris will stay in. Free kick coming for Detroit City and Louisville fans. What I'm about to do right now, if it jinxes it, you could come after me, but I think we're secure in saying with tonight's Lou City win, you can head to any participating Louisville area Wendy's tomorrow to get a free small Frosty, no purchase necessary. Again, if that jinxes things in 4 minutes up 4, I apologize.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that would be one of the most monumental comebacks. I mean, what we saw Birmingham come back on Tampa Bay in Open Cup. I think
fair enough
for the 4 goals, and I don't know if it was in 3 minutes though.
So the final 10,
yeah,
I think it was, end of regulation into a lengthy bit of stoppage time.
You pull all 4 of those goals back, and then you lose in extra time. That's a...
You could use the next 3 minutes to figure out what flavor Frosty you want tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it right now for Louisville fans. For Detroit City fans, the question is now picking up the pieces. Hadn't played in 18 days. A couple of draws before that, including the 1-1 at home against Phoenix. After that, remember the 3-0 loss in Open Cup against Indy 11. So in your last 2 games that you played, even though that one wasn't in USL competition, it was still full roster on full roster against a USL team. You lost 3-0. Now it's 8-1 in back-to-back games. There's going to be some concern here for fans of Le Rouge after that flying start. Pick up those early 5 wins, sitting nicely in the table. But now you have to look in the mirror if you're Danny Dichio's side and wonder what needs to change.
And especially when offensively, it's slowed down quite a bit. And you came into this match with a +4 goal differential, and you're leaving tonight even. Now with 12 goals scored, 12 goals against, and coming into the match, leading the USL with only 7 goals allowed, being the fewest goals allowed tally, and now conceding 5 in this one match. So
quick turnaround out west on the weekend against Orange County. That's not going to be easy against an Orange County team that is equally as desperate right now. We'll talk about the form for Morten Carlson's team. It really started with a loss in Open Cup that came against Loudoun, but that has since seen them get walloped on this field against Louisville, a loss on the road against Oakland at the dying minute, and then a loss at home against Loudoun again, who had to go out there twice, once in Open Cup, once in regular season play. So it doesn't get any easier for Detroit City. You continue trekking out west against a desperate, talented Orange County.
And this is because you bring up a great point, because I mentioned Monterey Bay and the matchup tonight, and you bring up Orange County. And I know we say it early on in the season that it's early, and that five-game winning streak for Detroit City is going to see them be able to feel some of these, a woe like this on the road, and just be able to move on, learn from it, take a couple pieces from it. You're still 5-2-2. A loss is a loss. You know, obviously not the way they wanted to come to Lynn Family Stadium and showcase after 18 days off from league play. But that's where the hot start from Orange County, the hot start from Monterey Bay, Detroit City, it does give you that flexibility to take some of these away matches. And you know, I think you draw back to Charleston last year. I think it was not quite midway where they took that 6-0 loss at San Antonio and saw themselves in the final, in the USL final. So you're going to have some of those games that just don't go your way, and you correct them and you move forward. But what a performance from Danny Cruz's side. Just complete. You concede the first goal, and then you go 5 unanswered, and just collective goals.
6-0 at home in 2024 for Louisville City. They continue their domination here at Lynn Family Stadium. And with that, we'll take a look at tonight's move of the game presented by Toyota. It's the first of what turned out to be 2 Wilson Harris goals.
And a combination of the press there, forcing Stephen Carroll, and then that dimension of Detroit City wanting to protect that end line and that service, knowing the commitment that Lou City gets into the box. Stephen Carroll goes flying by Wilson Harris, tremendous move, and then met by an incredible left-footed finish.
Final score brought to you by the Gorski Law Office. It's Louisville 5 at Detroit City 1. We wrap things up from Lynn Family Stadium in just a moment.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the 3rd health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I'm finally feeling control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can capture all the moments that make summer, summer. Like driving a RAV4 to wade in a waterfall.
Nice.
Cruising to play mini golf in a Camry. or taking a Tundra to the beach.
You're not going to leave me here, are you?
Get a new 24 RAV4 or electrified RAV4 hybrid with 4.75 APR financing. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 for $289 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
How do you get your news?
Is WDRB the soundtrack to your morning routine?
Or you can scroll on the go with the WDRB News app.
If you've already cut the cord, start streaming our news on WDRB Plus.
Maybe you like to read a more in-depth story and you use WDRB.com.
When weather's the biggest story of your day, the WDRB weather app has video forecasts and radar.
However you choose to get your news, WDRB is the source.
Postgame is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. It's Louisville City celebrating a 5-1 victory over Detroit City FC. A look at the full-time highlights, of which there were many on this Lou City side, especially in half number 2. You saw Josh Weiner there, all smiles, visiting his old stomping grounds now with Benfica. They put on a show for him tonight, but early on, some concern. It was Detroit City, mind you, who scored first after 5 unanswered from Louisville.
It was, and it was a hot start from Lou City, playing on the front foot, creating a number of chances, albeit half chances, conceding the first goal on that corner kick. Damian Loss just getting the punch out wrong, and then what changes the narrative is scoring goals right before half. And this recycled ball, the service by Wes Sharpie, the finish by Ordonez, and then the creativity by Jake Morris, and then the combination here by Perez, the drive. He gets 2 defenders out wide for Detroit City. Slipped ball in from Gonzalez, who made quite the impact coming in that second half, beating Stephen Carroll between the legs, and it just continued in the second half. We talked about the goals at home that Lou City has scored. Is the pressure from Wilson Harris. 13 in the second half coming into this match, and then they tally 4 more tonight. That's 17 second half goals here at home. This incredible finish, left-footed finish from Wilson Harris, who tacks on his 10th goal of the night later on in this, and then player that is our man of the match, Jake Morris. Electric all night, dangerous out in that wide space, driving at that 18-yard box, and that left-footed finish, low driven ball, and then the press was just so difficult for Detroit City. Sam Galito getting on the end of that, drawing the foul from Stephen Carroll, and then the deception on the penalty kick from Wilson Harris, collecting his 10th goal of the season and making it 5 unanswered for Lou City tonight.
Stats will paint the picture. Plenty of opportunities for Louisville City. And for Detroit City, most of those shots and shots on target came in the first half. Despite their possession advantage, Lou City in total control basically from the 40th minute onward.
Yeah, converting. I mean, you look at shots on target. 8 shots on target, 5 of those went in the back of the net. And for Detroit City, 5, and then the 1 goal, but efficient for Lou City, and really a comprehensive performance by Danny Cruz and his side.
And it's, again, not the only match of the night here in USL Championship on the CBS family of networks. On CBS Sports Network coming up in, 25 minutes time. It's Monterey Bay hosting the Charleston Battery. Devin Kerr, Mike Watts on the call for that one on CBS Sports Network. Charleston Battery trying to keep pace now with Louisville hot on their heels atop the East.
Yeah, and these teams seem to exchange results on days, so Charleston looking to keep pace with that setting score sheet right here.
And buckle up in for that one. Again, your final score brought to you by Gorski Injury Law. The crew that makes this possible, and broadcast partner Eric Dobransky. I'm Joe Malva saying so long for now. It's Louisville City 5, Detroit City 1. Louisville City remains perfect at home in 2024. Wilson Harris is flying with 10 goals in 11 matches. The boys in purple get to celebrate at Lynn Family Stadium. Make sure, again, you flip over CBS Sports Network, Monterey Bay, and Charleston in 20 minutes.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.